And that's the right after the video was this match because I guess they figured we know this thing's going to go 4 hours too, and we're smart like MJF. Let's get the out here and get out before the thing goes any further in the hole. And I always skip the Buckaroos matches these days, Brian, right? Because it's the same thing. But I thought, here's Okada, the multi-million-dollar man. Here's Tanahashi, the president of New Japan. I'm going to see what the that they can come up with, right? So I watched as much of this as I could stomach. Do you blame me?
I was hoping you watched it because, again, just like the MJF match, but for different reasons, I wanted you to break this one down. I thought it was fascinating.
Here's the thing, and the Acclaimed were over, and they still like him, and this was the crowd. If any New York AEW fans, if anybody's going to like any of this shit, it was them, and they did like some shit here.
Best rap in a while. Best Max Caster rap in a while.
Well, I was about to say, Caster, they gave him some extended time, and he ate him up and said bitch about 46 times, making fun of the only word Okada knows in English apparently is bitch. But they teased Okada and Tanahashi starting, and I'm thinking, okay, can either one of these guys please impress me? And then Okada tags out. And observations. Bowens and Matty, they did the aggressive parkour, but Bowens looks sharp and athletic, and he has a physique. And I think, well, Caster got the attention with the rap, and that is still, his strong point. I think Bowens is a heck of a worker if he was anywhere else but here. Again, this is just, it's ridiculous. It's an indie level. I guess I've never seen a PWG match or show, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Just because their breath smells like cheetahs ain't no sign that they're Tarzan. But I assume this is what it's like. It's nonstop goofy spots mixed with comedy that only a small audience cares enough to live their life around and understand. And they do contrived shit so that the one guy can leg drop both of the buckaroos in their tiny little nuts. And Caster must have nuclear heat because as soon as they got him in, he did like a hip toss and they cut him the fuck off. And then Matty put his headphones on and Cody's dancing around like an idiot. Thank you, Tony Khan, for $2 million. That's probably just Cody for a year.
It's amazing. WWE wanted him, and by all accounts, and he chose this, and it's not even just about money. Look at what he's doing,
and look at how he does it. And if WWE wanted him, the only reason they wanted him was so Japan wouldn't have him. So now they saved a lot of money and they got what they wanted. Can you see?
Well, no, so Tony wouldn't have him, not Japan.
Well, if they want to fucking, no, I'm talking about if they wanted to fucking go to Japan. I think if they were trying to sign him, that's because they wanted to go to Japan. Because look at him right now as we both sit here and he stands here on this earth and tell me that a WWE match wouldn't break him in fucking half.
I'll say this, because I watched a lot more of New Japan when Tanahashi and Okada were having classic matches than you did. Although I think you may have seen one or two of them.
But it's been years, so I put it out of my mind.
They were great matches, and those guys look great in them. Okada was the younger guy. To me, the story of this match is less Okada, or I'm not even saying the story of the match, but Tanahashi. We're seeing all these guys from that era of New Japan. Funny enough, with the exception of Shinsuke Nakamura. And whenever these guys come over here, it just looks like they're broken down and they can't do anything. It looks like they can't be hit hard. It looks like what they're doing is going to be, it's not even they're laying it in, it just looks weak. I don't know how to explain it. But it was sad for me seeing Tanahashi.
Well, what was sad for me was seeing this was a phony Buckaroos match. They run and they nail Tanahashi and Bowens off the apron of the ring with one punch each, and then those guys sell on the floor for well over a minute, minute and a half, while the Buckaroos, these are all supposed to be main event guys. This is pay-per-view, and they do a fucking comedy crisscross spot, ended up with kissing each other. The Jackson, but the Hardley boys in the middle of a pay-per-view match. Why don't they just set fire to Tony Khan's money? I wrote. At one point, were the fans chanting CM Punk at the Buckaroos?
It sounded like it, yeah. Now, of course, AEW prohibits CM Punk shirts, even AEW ones apparently, and signs. There's usually a CM Punk contingent at these shows, but they're kind of shut down before they even get in the building.
Well, and then they did a tag to Bowens, who made a comeback on the Buckaroos. And see, now here's the thing. At various points in these matches that they put together, people will just disappear for no good reason, and you'll catch a stray camera shot of them kneeling down behind the apron of the ring, hiding, peeking up over the goddamn edge of the mat to see if it's time for them to get back in the ring. What does that look like to the arena? How unprofessional is that? And they're not the only ones that do it. It's a modern wrestling thing, but people just disappear out of sight. Like, we're going to give you the stage now. Fucking morons. So Bowens made a comeback on the Buckaroos. Everybody else in the match was completely out of sight. And then Caster appeared. But the two Japanese guys were out taking a nap. And you would see them kneeling on the floor in the corner of a camera shot. And then they got simultaneous cold tags. And Tanahashi made the comeback on Okada. And I mean, compared to everybody else again on this show, whether they can work or not, these guys are moving like they're 80. And then the other four guys have disappeared and are laying on the floor for no reason. You actually see Caster peek up over the apron and then see it's not time and duck back down. Again, the front row is looking at you. If you can't have a goddamn 6-man tag team match where people don't have to roll out of the ring and just hide, then don't have one. I've never seen shit like this before. So then they're destroying any illusion that people might want to have about any of this. And then they all run in the ring and do shit to each other. And then somehow the Buckaroos stopped the Acclaimed on the floor, and Tanahashi splashed Okada, but he raised his knees. And then the Buckaroos rolled in and played with their tennis shoes and then super kick everybody and dive on the Acclaimed. And then they're just out of the whole goddamn thing. And Okada slams Tanahashi, does the elbow off the top, flips the crowd the finger. Tanahashi small packages him 2 count. Who does these fucking finishes? And then more shit happened, and Okada hit that shitty little short arm clothesline and beat Tanahashi 1, 2, 3. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Your thoughts in closing?
I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, I will say the Acclaimed are a little more interesting today than they were yesterday. And that's been the first time in a while I could say that. Max Caster killed it with that rap. The Bucks have no heat. The lead heel stable in the company have no heat. No one takes them seriously. And when you look at them in their role, they look ridiculous. I'm sorry. They do. They don't look like top guys in any company. And it shouldn't go based on looks. Rey Mysterio doesn't look like a top guy in any company. But he was one. The Bucks, at some point...
You know what? You may not have to always look like one, but you got to act like one.
You could try.
You always got to act like one.
But if you think your own shit don't stink, and if you think your stuff's the only stuff that matters, this is what happens. No one gives a fuck about them. No one cares at all. And you really have to evaluate their story more and more, and you realize Their great success was being one of the very few indie acts ever to really market themselves. It wasn't about the event or the promotion. It was about seeing them. That's the smart way to do it. More guys need to do that.
But that's what killed every company that they were associated with, killing the business, until now they're being able to kill the most well-funded one in history.
But they built up a wave of goodwill into the start of AEW, and that was it. That was the peak. It's been downhill since, and there's going to be no increase. They're just not that good. And I know people will flip out because they love the flips and the matches and Nick Jackson flying all over the place. But these problems that you talked about were always there, with people hiding and peeking up over the apron, waiting for their chance to run in, their time to run in, their spot.
Their cue
to run in. It always happens. I mean, every one of these Bucks matches breaks down the same way. And the fans don't seem to give a shit. Even with Okada there. It's dragged him down more than him pulling them up.
We don't care anymore. We don't care what you say. You never could work a goddamn lick anyway. So don't be there anymore. Get out of our way.